else is touching my hair.
And that's so I appreciate that more than anything. I mean, honestly, when it comes to hair, it's like that's your baby. You know what I mean? Like that's your crown, your glory. And I am honored to, to be that one. And when people trust me and they say, no, I want you to do it, I try my best to get you in. Like regardless, I try my best. Like, look, if you trust me, then I'm gonna give you that time. I'm gonna try to make that time wherever I can, because I get it. You don't want to just give that gift to anybody just to destroy or tamper with, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like your virginity almost.
Yeah. And I so appreciate that standpoint, because how many times, ladies, have we gone to get our hair done, maybe by a new person or maybe somebody who we've entrusted to do our hair before, and we wind up leaving. Maybe we don't say what we needed to say about what we didn't like.
Just looking pitiful.
Yeah. And I just really appreciate Angel has always been someone to really make sure that I have loved my hairstyle. And if I didn't, she would work with me until like we got to a place where I was like, okay, I'm cool.
We're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Well, you said something very poignant. You said it's our crown and glory. So what did you mean by that when you said that?
So usually, okay, some people are face people. They have to have their eyebrows on. Like they have to have their lashes done. But your hair is something like, that's the first thing that people really see. You know what I mean? Like they see your hair, they may look at your face and things like that, but they really see your hair. Like they're like, okay, it's pretty, or, oh, I like your braids, or, oh, I like, your ponytail. Even they see your edges. Oh, you got edges, like your hair. And you know what I'm saying? Like that's the first thing that you really like zone in on, and from afar, you know what I mean? That's something that you notice and recognize also. So healthy hair, like that's something that you prize. And if your hair is longer, or, you know what I mean, or just thick, or whatever it is that's your attribute to your hair, like that's your crown, that's your glory. That's the one thing that no one can take that away from you, and it's nothing like anyone else's, And so that's pretty much what I mean by that.
So speak a little bit more to us about healthy hair. I know that in the past few years, natural hair has really, and it's not that it hasn't been a thing for people, but I think for more Black women within the past like 3 to 5 years, natural hair has become a thing, a craze, right? We see that it's healthy, and women's hair, Black women's hair has started growing, right? To lengths that we like. Before I started to see natural hair kind of become this phenomenon, or a more well-known way of wearing our hair as Black women, I didn't think that I could grow my hair. And I know, some other Black women didn't think that it was attainable for them either.
Because they think our hair is short, because I feel like our hair grows more out versus growing down. Is that right, Angel?
Well, every person is different. So yes, you have some who their hair can reach those lengths, you know what I mean, and it still be thick and curly and long. And then you have some people who, their hair may not grow long, but they have like that thickness, or that, you know what I mean, certain texture. And so, we're all different. We all have different grades. And even in one head, we have at least 5 different curl patterns, or, 5 different textures, going on. Yeah. And so with that, it's like, as far as being natural, I praise any woman who has done the journey, has done the, a whole cut off, or even started with the relaxer and just kind of grew it out. I find it amazing, because it is not easy to look at yourself, your natural self, your bare self, in your most natural, most vulnerable state, and still find beauty, and still say, you know what, I'm going to rock this, and I'm going to do this, as far as you mentioned, the growth, like the length versus the out. Honestly, I feel like so much pressure is put on us to have this long hair. Oh, your hair should be long if it's natural. It should be healthy and long. And honestly, I feel that your hair is the best that it is, however it is, as long as it's healthy. If you're deep conditioning, keeping up with your trims, the healthiest hair you can have for you is what's most beautiful for you.
And I like that you keep saying healthy hair, not good hair, because we know that good hair is
Yeah.
often synonymous with the European standards. So the nice, long, straight, bouncy, it moves, you know what I mean? And then we have our hair, which is natural, that grows literally out of our scalp. It's not considered to be good hair if it doesn't just lay or if it doesn't move.
Yeah.
So I like that you keep saying healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like when it comes to movement, I mean, there's some hairstyles that you don't want to move. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some styles you want to like, I want this to be where it is. That's where edge control comes in and the gels and, the twist and curl creams and stuff. It's like, I don't want this to move. I don't want this to be flying all over the place. I want this to be right where it is. And
Yeah.
that's good too, you know.
Yeah. So that's a question. In order for someone to really, and my mind is already going to the next question. I can't wait to ask her about this, but I'll stick with where we are right now. So if you were technically to go natural after having a relaxer, to be natural, does that mean that you have to cut your hair off?
Well, there's two parts. It's a two-part question. One part of that question is that you can either go through a transition phase, which is where you still have the relaxer on your hair, but you grow your hair out naturally. Um, I would call that a transition. I wouldn't say, oh, you're fully natural because you still have, some relaxed ends. I would say, you're going through a transition phase, and that's okay too. I don't feel that you have to cut all your hair off. If you're about that life, be about that life, own it. I think it's a great thing. I've done it before, and it was the most freeing thing I'd ever done. I have a round, full face, and I never expected to look cute with short, curly hair. But when I did it, I got more likes and compliments on that post than ever before, than any other hairstyle I ever got. And I don't know if people were just being nice because they knew what I went, like, the trauma that I was probably going through. Like, oh, let me just like her photo so that she's not freaking out. But it was freeing. It was very freeing.
Just
I don't feel that
beautiful.
you have to, no. But if you feel that you want to, it's definitely not as crazy or scary as it feels, or as you may think it is. It's not that crazy. And there's wigs and braids and protective styles that you can wear in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Angel, have you ever been in a position where a client comes to you and they want to do a style and you're looking like, girl, this is going to break all your hair off, or how do you go about doing that? Do you tell the girl like, okay, or do you say like, I don't really think this is for you? Like, as a stylist, how do you approach that? Because it has to be hard.
Well, see, anybody that knows me knows that I am anything but a lie. I can't tell you no lie. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to make you look like Beyonce. I am not going to tell you that I'm going to press out your 4C kinky core. I mean, listen, if it's not working for you, and I honestly look at the situation and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to give you some other options here because this is not going to really work for you. Now, we can meet you in the middle. We can try to get you to a point where you're happy and I'm happy, but overall, I'm not going to lie. Yes, I have definitely been in positions where people come in and they're more so expecting something. You know what I'm saying? Like more so they have an expectation. Okay, my hair is thick and curly and kinky, and I want you to put this wig on me, but I want it to lay, flat, flat. And then I
Mm-hmm.
have to explain to them, like, okay, listen, so the wig that you brought in would probably be more beneficial for someone with less hair. Like you have a lot of hair already. And for me to get this, flat enough to where you're comfortable, is going to be complicated. So I would suggest that you get a higher density wig to where you can still get that straight look, but it has a little more volume so that it's going to hide your braids underneath. That's kind of how I would go about something like that. Or if someone's like, I want this wig and their natural edges come down to here, like y'all know what I'm talking about. Like where there are ladies who like their natural hair edges come like all the way down to here, and they're wanting this front lace wig. And I'm explaining like, listen, this is going to rip all of that out because I can't glue it, to your eyebrow. So I'll basically just let them know, like, listen, embrace your edges. The fact that you have them, embrace them. There are women who would love to have your edges. So instead of doing this front and lace wig on you, how about let's do a leave out sew-in. You still get that length, you still get that volume, but you get to keep your natural hair out and not damage your edges. Yeah.
So that's another question I have is, what would you say, because I'm someone who might be interested in wigs at some point here pretty soon, but I have strayed away from doing wigs because of the horror stories I have heard about like closures and frontals. And so what is your advice on that?
So as far when you say advice, as far as like wearing them at all, or as far as should you or should you not?
Should you, really, like, should you or should you not? And maybe it's not a matter of like should you or should you not, but like the frequency with which you're wearing them.
So my biggest thing is, if you notice, hairstylists, we switch up our hair often, and it's not always that we're like indecisive or that we just don't know, we just have the capacity to do it, so we do a bunch of different things. But I feel that variety is the spice of life. I feel like it's awesome that we as Black women get to embrace all different hair, styles and stuff. I think that's one of my favorite things about being a Black woman. Like, I can do whatever I want with my hair. But I feel that moderation, any good thing is a good thing, but if you overdo it, it's really bad. Braids are fine. A lot of people have the misconception that braids will, tear your hair out and things like that. If you're taking care of your natural hair underneath your braids, it's fine. It will actually help grow your hair. But if you wear braids back to back to back to back to back all year long, you will have some damage. You know what I mean? You will have some damage in spots. You'll notice your hair will be a little thinner from the, constant breakage throughout. Same with the wigs. If you're constantly wearing the same style wig, front lace, front lace, front lace, that rubbing is over time going to, damage your edges. So with wigs specifically, I would say go between a weave and a wig and a closure wig. The difference is a closure wig is usually that 4x6 part here. The frontal goes from ear to ear, where you get all the edges and whatnot. And then, of course, the sew-in is where you can either have your hair out or you can have a closure. I like the differentiation because you're dealing with just a closure part here. So all of the rest of your hair gets to just be braided up and it can breathe. And then when you do the frontal, you have your frontal, laid edges and whatnot. But make sure you just kind of balance between it. I wouldn't do one consistently all the time throughout the year. Too much of any good thing is bad.
Love that. Yeah, I remember very specifically being in college. You might not remember this, but I do. I remember coming home for Christmas and wanting some color, and you colored my hair. And I remember you told me, Christina,
oh Lord,
do not put a relaxer on your hair.
Oh Lord.
And I went back to college, and I might have waited 3 weeks, and I put a relaxer in. Oh my God, my hair broke off so bad.
You know better.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so I wound up coming back home for spring break, and that was when the A-line bobs were.
Clean it up.
I remember.
A-line. But she did, listen, my
A-line because it like broke off and she had to like
my hair broke off so bad. And so when you say that you're a stylist that will tell the truth before you will do something that is harmful to your client's hair, that is so true. And I cannot express how invaluable that is.
And shout out to all the stylists who go that extra mile. It may not even be considered the extra mile, but just to tell their clients like, hey, to take care of your hair, you need to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
After I put this color in your hair, don't do blah, 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 blah. And shame on those people who don't listen. Shame on you.
Right, yeah, I was in college. I've never tried it again. Okay, I learned my lesson once.
Just having the nerve to want to blame their stylist.
But
this is exhibit A of what we're happening.
In your defense, though, that was a bomb haircut. That was so cute.
Yes. girl, Angel, she hooked that. Oh my god.
No.
Way
And
up.
and what's funny is you were always into long hair. You know, I want it longer. I want it to grow. I want it to grow. But at that time, it was just like, you know what? It's not about the length. It's about, let's get this hair what it needs. Like, let's make your hair how it is right now. Let's take that and amp it up. Make it 100%. Not necessarily worried about the length or, you know, what you're missing out on, but hone in and just maximize what you have, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to piggyback off of that. So we talked about like the length. I want it long. I know that's a common theme with many Black women or women in general. We want it long. We want it straight. And what I've also noticed, especially like in professional settings, I don't see many of us wearing our hair in its natural state. So natural meaning no edge control. So we have the little curls, the little beady beads in the back. Natural as in not pressed down. Why do you think it is that we are we're less likely to wear our hair out in its natural state, but more we're going to make sure it's slicked back or straightened when we enter these professional spaces? Why do you think that is?
So there's, once again, two-part question. When you're talking about professionalism, it's more like, of course, society. You know what I mean? We in society, we are known to have different hair. You know what I mean? It's the first thing that people notice about us. You know that you have a Black woman joining your team. You know that you're probably going to see some braids, some weaves. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to see some different hairstyles. But I feel that I don't feel that we are necessarily taken seriously a lot of times when we have certain hairstyles that may be more natural. For instance, I wore faux locks a lot last year. I love my faux locks. But there were certain environments that I would go where I would feel a little looked at. You know what I mean? I would feel like just uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Not that I really cared, like in the big atmosphere, but just a little part of me kind of felt like, I bet you I wouldn't be getting these looks if my hair was straight, or you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, it just made me feel a little different. So of course, maybe it just could be like a small insecurity within us. I feel the other part to that question is our environment. We're a product of our environment. So for instance, sorry, this is getting a little wobbly. Um, we're a product of our environment. So I noticed that in Georgia, they wear their hair natural. They embrace their natural edges. They wear their kinky, coily, curly hair. They braid it and do braid outs and twist outs and things like that. And they see women like them walking around, walking amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so they complement each other. They, aspire and inspire one another when they see that. Here in Fairbanks, Alaska, when I wear my hair out and my big natural hair, you know what I mean? I get looked at. And and I'm not doing it to be looked at. This is just who I am, but it
It's just
still makes me feel weird. It just makes
Yeah.
me feel uncomfortable. And so I will adorn more of a, sleeker style or anything like that, just so that I'm not like, looked at, so to speak.
Yeah.
I just, I really feel that it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It is unfortunate, but at the same time, um, it could also be okay. One other thing, and I'm this just popped in my mind. I remember when I cut my hair off, and I cut my hair off in May. It was May 2018 or 19. I can't remember. 2019 or 2018, and I wanted to be sexy for my for whatever. Actually, I think I might have cut it off in March, and I wanted to be sexy for my birthday, and I had like a pole dancing class that I was going to go to. And in the back of my mind, it was fun. It was really fun. But in the back of my mind, I remember thinking like, I'm not gonna be able to like throw my hair around like while I'm trying to be sexy, And so I put on a wig, and really, it was just more so like I didn't feel. I felt like I looked like a little girl. And I felt like I wanted to be sexy and, fling my hair around. And, of course, it just was, I guess a part of the sexy feel or whatever. Or when I would wear lingerie, you know what I mean? My husband, of course, he was just like, you look beautiful. Like, I love your hair like this. Like, this is sexy. This is sexy. But for me, I didn't feel sexy. I didn't feel that I looked sexy just because I just had this curly afro, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's really more so like a society stigma or anything like that, or just maybe an insecurity of myself, or just something that I just may have wanted to have flingy hair, as I twirl around this pole.
Yeah. My mind goes to, this is so, it's like trauma.
Yeah.
Right? As a Black woman, how many times have we done something to our hair that when we go into our place of work, our professional environment, the white people are like, oh, your hair, you changed your hair. I like it. Or is that your real hair?
Can I
It looks
touch it?
different. Can I touch it?
Remember when I told you that someone said I look like Captain Hook or a pirate? Let me tell you. So I had the long individuals, and I had a coworker say, "Oh my gosh, you remind me of that guy from Pirates of the Caribbean with the long," and thinking that's funny. Like, that's not funny. Like, that's my hair, but that's the type of blows that we take.
Yeah.
Or if we were to wear our hair, I feel like if we were to wear our hair in its natural state, without the edge control, without the gel, or if it wasn't straightened, I almost feel like it would be, they're not taking care of themselves, or they're not kept.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Like, we're in some way savages, right? And I think that word nowadays has a positive, I don't mind it, but the way in which white people will refer to us as being unkept, right? That's just the term for like savage, right? And so so many times I have done something different to my hair and gone into work, and white people think it's okay to comment on it, and it's not, right? Like, when I'm in, going to work, and there's different, I think, trends that the white girls I've worked with in the past have been interested in or have gone to get work done on. I don't comment and ask you, are those your real lips? Or are those your real
look a little tight today?
Or, did your cheekbones get a little bigger over the week, or a little higher, a little more lifted over the weekend, right? And so, to me, when you talk about that, it's trauma that has been enacted upon women of color for simply, right? Our hair is a way that we express ourselves.
Yeah.
And, depending on where you are, what stage of life you're at, maybe it's just that, right? Like, right now, I'm already thinking 3 weeks from now, I want to get individuals when I get ready to go back to work, because it's a hassle doing my hair in the morning, right? I've been working virtually the past year. My hair is the last thing I want to be worried about when I have to go back into work, right? And that does not warrant, when I walk through those doors, for some white person to make some insensitive, ignorant comment about my hair. And so I think, so I do think it is traumatizing. And I feel like hair is one of the many ways in which we have to fight for our right to be unique individuals who desire to, display our creativity without question.
I agree.
You said something that was very key about the trauma in terms of having to deal with your hair. The last thing you want to have to do. I mean, people who are not natural probably will never understand, or people who don't have curly hair or thicker hair will never understand the struggle of having to do your hair. And not only doing your hair, and not only doing it, but imagine sitting there. I've watched YouTube girls sit there for 3 hours doing like the rod set or the twist out, and they're doing these styles on themselves. And the back of my mind when I do a twist out is, oh my God, I hope this turns out right. Can you imagine spending 3 hours and then you take it out and it's not sitting right, or like your curls are all like over the place? Like, I mean, sometimes that's even a reason why we just straighten it. Like, shoot, I'm just going to straighten it, or I'm just going to just put a wig on, or just put a weave in, or just get some braids, because life is happening, and we don't want to spend time doing our hair in the midst of life happening, or spend time redoing or undoing our hair because it didn't turn out right, So that alone can be traumatizing. You spend all night doing this rod set, and then you have to wake up in the morning and take it out, and as you're taking it out, your curls are like not doing what you wanted. Like that's trauma, you know?
Yeah. And that is so true. That isn't like indicative of the struggle, right? I feel like we work with our hair, we find what works for us, and we're always, as a Black woman, I'm always hoping it's gonna turn out, right? I hope I don't put too much setting lotion, right? So that they're not Aunt Sue's, it's not Aunt Susie's Flexi Rod set. Or I hope that when I get out of the shower and I know I'm going to straighten it, I don't put too much oil in so that it's not oily looking, but it still blows in the wind. And I feel like we are in the age, Black girls, Black women, to just be like, F European standards, F society's standard of beauty and good hair and what that looks like, feels like, If
you want to cut your hair, cut your hair. If you want to put weave in it, put weave in it. I think this the most important thing is just take care of your hair. You mentioned healthy hair and trims. I want you to hit him with that one more time. How important are trims?
Oh my God. So trims are completely, like, that's everything. Like for me, if you don't trim your hair, what happens is it starts to crawl and eat up, like literally split ends will like crawl and eat up to your hair. So you never really get to see the full potential of your length. You never really get to see the full potential of your texture. It's, I think of it like a plant. If you don't prune those leaves off a plant, you'll never see the full manifestation of the plant. It'll just sit there because those leaves are going to soak up all the moisture that it needs. The dead leaves are going to soak up, all the nutrients because they're trying to get better. And so you won't ever see the full manifestation of the plant. And I feel it's the same way with your hair. You have to trim your ends, and preventative maintenance is to get a trim every 6 to 8 weeks. If you trim your hair every 6 to 8 weeks, and some natural girls, I have to break it to you, I'm sorry, but some natural girls may even have to do it every 4 to 6 weeks. Because when you're doing natural styles, you're pulling on your hair a lot more, you're brushing it out a lot more, you're doing more, you're touching it a lot more. And causing a lot more friction. And so your ends will tend to, or could tend to, break off a lot easier than someone who is relaxed or someone who is maybe transitioning. But all in all, you just have to take care of the ends. If you want to see your hair grow and actually see some length, trims are going to be detrimental. And then even for my girls who are like really kinky coily, you'll notice that it'll be a lot easier to detangle your hair once you get those ends off. If you're trying to like detangle through all this, matted ends, you're causing yourself a lot more damage, and you'll actually go further if you just cut it. Yeah.
Ooh, she's speaking to my soul. Listen, I have it in a bun right now, but I know what it feels like trying to like.
She knows better. You know better.
I know better. No,
I do. But I'm not home. I'm not in my natural environment with my stylist, so I'm a little like,
what do I do?
I understand that too.
Yeah.
Well, at least you try to take care of your hair. I want to segue into someone who clearly was not Miss Tessica Brown, aka the Gorilla Glue girl. So if you haven't heard this story or you're living under a rock somewhere, Miss Mama's sprayed Gorilla Glue in her hair. So what she says happened was she was in the car or something. She had ran out of the Got to Be glue spray, and she picked up the Gorilla Glue spray and sprayed it in her hair, thinking that when she got home, she could wash it out. But unfortunately, she was sadly mistaken. She says she washed her hair 15 times. She tried every type of oil she can think of, even cooking oil. And even that Crisco didn't take that Gorilla Glue out. Fast forward a month later, Miss Tessica Brown is still washing her hair, so much so that she is flown to LA where she has it surgically removed from her head. It's out, and she's not bald. She's actually left with some of her hair.
Her natural hair.
Now, Angel, what did you think of this story?
So, in all honesty, I've used Gorilla Glue spray before.
On your
I've used another. Well, not in my hair. No, absolutely no. You know better. No, 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 not in my hair, but for a project. Yes,
Yeah.
for projects.
Yeah.
And I will tell you firsthand, I'm not too sure how much I really believe this story. And I will tell you why. When you spray this adhesive, first of all, it is a acetone smell that is like out of control. The smell is so strong that I do not know how she could have sat there and smoothed and swooped and smoothed and swooped and all of that kind of stuff with this product. The other thing is, even for the got to be glue spray, when you spray it after a certain, it starts to get kind of white. It starts to get kind of residuey.
Mhm.
The Gorilla Glue spray is really tacky. And there's another lady on, I don't know if she's on YouTube or Instagram, but she went ahead and sprayed it on her hair. She did it on a mannequin first, and then she sprayed it on her hair and noticed that she couldn't get that swoop lay because it was getting tacky as she was applying.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, first of all, we never use a hardware. Who goes to the hardware store to get something for? No.
Just spray it
We
in my
don't
hair.
do that. We don't do that. That's not what we do. Okay. Now I could see if she mistaked it for Gorilla Snot, because that is a hair product. That is a hair product. It's a gel that's kind of like the Got to Be Glue gel, but it's called Gorilla Snot, and it comes out in but it's gel, and it's like clearly gel. But this whole Gorilla Glue situation, honestly, I don't know. And then the other thing I have to say about it is, after 15 times of washing it, and she's still washing it and everything, we all know that when there's some kind of adhesive, even the like hair glue, like the black hair glue adhesive, when you put soap and water on it, it starts to get sticky. And it
Yeah.
starts to kind of get like residue, and you get the little beady, little ballies and stuff like that. So my thought process is, how is it that you washed your hair 15 times and there's no like tackiness? Like it's not like trying to come off. So honestly, I don't really know how well I really play into the whole hype of the story. And then when I saw the lady spray, like she literally sprayed the Gorilla Glue, and you see it goes on like fibers, like kind of like stringy fibers. And so as she's trying to slick it, it wasn't slicking because it was getting tacky. Long story short, I don't know. I really don't know.
I was annoyed. I was so annoyed. Remember, we were talking last night about it, and I was annoyed because they have this black woman, because even the local news stations, and even this made national news, and I was so annoyed that how they would frame it is they would have the can of Gorilla Glue with this gorilla on it, and then they would freeze frame her doing stuff like,
right.
You know what I mean? And I was just so annoyed.
Yeah.
Like, girl, like if you were trying to get clout, okay, but did you have to go about it this way?
Yeah.
Now folks are thinking that we're so because they spun the narrative here of black people do anything for beauty.
Or their hair. Yeah.
And it's like, that is no.
Yeah.
Like now she spun this thing to where we'll do something as crazy and ignorant as spray industrial glue in our head. Like, no. We don't all like that. Do something so silly.
And I was at I mean, I had seen the story prior to, but this past week, like being like in the gym and stuff like that, like, of course it was on Fox News, and I just felt so ashamed. Like,
everyone's looking like,
right. Like my hair looks like this. Like, no, I don't have Gorilla Glue in my hair, but right. Girl, I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed right now. But it proves, I think, like we were talking about earlier, the level of trauma that so many of us have experienced. And I don't care what skin tone, right? I think I'm also saying this because of a troll that we had here as of late.
Yeah.
I don't care what what skin tone you are as a Black woman, you do not have, right, as straight as my hair might get when I come to see you and you run it through that flat iron and whatever else, right? Like, it is not like that when I step out of the shower after I have washed it. And so I just want to make that very clear. I don't care what skin tone you have. If you are a woman of color, a Black woman, you are going to have a grade of hair that is not so easy to deal with. And I just think it speaks to the trauma that we all have experienced, and maybe to different degrees with different textures of hair. But at some point, we've all had this message communicated to us that we are not enough. Our grade of hair is not acceptable or the desirable grade of hair.
It's messy.
Nappy. Right. And so I just think we have to, like, number one, start out with what is good hair to us. Healthy hair. What does that mean for each and every one of us? And I was at that place. I didn't necessarily cut my hair off, but I transitioned out of having a relaxer. I remember that, you know, and I remember having like straight up here or straight down here and then curly up here and like not really knowing what to do with that. But we're all on our own journey. And I think we just have to kind of like settle into what feels right for us.
Yeah. And you're beautiful no matter what you decide to do with your hair.
Yeah. And this, you know, I'm glad that you said that, because I've been on this like a body shaming kick, and it's the same with your body. You know what I mean? Like we have all different body shapes. We have all different, you know, someone, there's this guy, he posted something about little booty girls. Like, it was positive though. It was like, you know, it'd be the little booty girls that make you fall in love or something like that. And to me, it was, because I ain't got no booty. So to me, it was like, you know, heartwarming, like, oh, you know, they noticed, you know. But the coolest thing about it was, you know, reading through the comments, there were so many different comments that were negative and some were positive. Well, most of them were positive, some were negative. But the coolest thing that I took away from it was, there's somebody for everybody. And no matter what your booty looks like, no matter what your hair looks like, make it the best booty for you. Make it the best hair for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to have no big old donkey butt, and that's okay. I'm going to make my butt the best butt that it could be for me, you know? And so I'm going to make my hair the best hair. Exactly. I'm going to make my hair the best hair for me. I can't have Christina's hair. I can't have Courtney's hair. I can have my hair. Now, I can go buy some hair and I can, you know, do different things. But at the end of the day, I just have to focus on what's best for me, what's best for my hair, you know? And I just feel like if we just get into the habit of just embracing difference, embracing being unique, embracing just, you know, our culture in itself is so infinite of things that we have to contribute culturally. If we just embrace just the differences that we can do, the fact that I can take these braids out and wear my afro, or take my, you know, cornrow my afro back, or, you know, wear a slick ponytail with no Gorilla Glue, you know, put on the faux lock. The coolest thing is right now, I love the butterfly lock trends. I love that, you know, I had a friend who felt like that they couldn't wear locks because of their skin tone. They're black, fully black, and they just happen to be light skinned. They felt that they would be, I guess, looked at differently, or if, you know, whatever, if they had locks. And I'm like, go look up pictures of Jamaica. There's tons of light skin, you know, Jamaican people with locks, even Asian Jamaicans with locks. I mean, there's just so many different things. Like, I just feel that, and then the other part to that was they didn't feel comfortable because they weren't real locks, or they didn't grow the locks. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, but I mean, so you want to have a lock hairstyle, but you just don't want to commit to it. What's the problem with getting the faux locks? Like, that's the perfect, you know, it's the perfect combination of what you want, and, you know, and you get to have that experience, and you get to wear it, and it's beautiful. So I really like what we're able to do, like with the faux locks and the crochet Singhalese twist, and you don't have to sit for 900 hours getting your hair braided anymore. You can get the crochet method, or you know what I mean, like the different things that that are trending right now. And the cute little butterfly locks, like those, the style of actually wrapping those things takes like 9 or 12 hours or something crazy. And now they just have the little perfectly packaged, little crochet ones that you can, do individually and still get that look. Like, I think it's awesome. I think we just need to embrace those differences, embrace those things that, and I do want to say this too. There was a white girl that came to the salon, and she told me that she went to somewhere else to get her hair braided and they would not do it for her. And it kind of broke my heart. It broke my heart because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't mind you wanting to embrace, braids. I really don't. Like, I feel like I'm not going to turn you away because, I don't know. I could see how someone could say, well, why are you trying to take all of our stuff? But see, we have so much stuff that we could give.
Oh, why?
Because she's white.
They told her no. They told her no, basically, because like you're a white girl, you don't need to have these braids. Like this isn't for you. This is for us. Like, back off. This is for us. And for me, I was just like, first of all, I'm a hairstylist, so I'm about my coin. I'm about, I'm just, like I said, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real. And not only that, but why can't you have braids? Like, I don't care. You're not hurting me or offending me. If anything, you're complimenting me. If anything, the fact that you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see it that way. I see it as a compliment. Like, or when, white people want to come in and get locks done. I don't see that as an insult. I don't see that as them trying to make fun. Not, there are people who do that. But I feel personally like, oh, wow, you want locks? Like, you think that's beautiful. Like, okay, this is something that you like also. Wow, thank you for enjoying and embracing a part of my culture. Like, that's nice. Now, when, I walk into an establishment and there's a white girl with locks and I come in with my faux locks or whatever, it's like, I don't feel that she's looking at me weird. I kind of, we can vibe on, we can vibe on a level where it's like, okay, you feel me, you know what I'm saying? And in that way, I feel like that's really cool too, because it once again, it helps us uplift each other, even though we may not be from the same background. The fact that she finds beauty in my culture helps me to see, wow, there is beauty in my culture. Other people want to look like me. And on the flip side, I don't want to see the girls who want to wear the weave. They want to get the Brazilian straight weave, and they want to get the Indian curly hair weave. That doesn't make you less Black because you want to look, or have this Asian style hair or Brazilian style hair. It doesn't make you less Black. So don't ridicule or push away people who want locks or braids. Don't push away. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. We all have a look that we want to look like, and we should all be able to embrace that and be unique and express ourselves, whether it be Malaysian, bone straight weave, or whether it be braids.
That's beautiful.
That is. And I think you made some really, really good points. I feel like I learned a lot from you. I think our viewers, our listeners did as well. You actually answered a lot of the questions that our Instagram followers had. So we don't even need to go through those. But I want everyone to know where they can find you. Where can they find you at, Miss Angel?
So I'm at Sheer Heaven in Fairbanks, Alaska. Crystal Moore, she's my mother-in-law and the owner and operator here. Yes. Whoop, 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 whoop. And she slays too, y'all. She slays too. So yes, we're here in Fairbanks, Alaska. We're at 615 Gaffney Road. And you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Sheer Heaven Angels, I believe is what it is. I haven't looked at it in a while, but yes, that's where you can find me.
All right. Well, thank you, beautiful. We have to have you come back. Other than that,
please.
We'll catch you guys next episode. Follow us, like the video, comment, subscribe, send us a DM. Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Shephoriapodcast. Follow us on Twitter, Shephoriapodcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, Google Play, Podbean, TuneIn Radio. Shephoriapodcast. All right, love you guys.
Yes.